Well, welcome to Find It. Superman is for real. He is my guest. His name is, guess what his name is? Superman is for real. He is not with us right now, but I'm going to try to delay a little bit and maybe he will join us in a few minutes. I'm Eastern time. He's Central time. And I think he got his times messed up. So I'm a damsel in distress. Come on, Superman, come and save me. Come save the day. But no, his name is James E. Dixon. And I do want to talk a little bit about him. So hang tight. He may join us if he gets his message of panic and join us here shortly. So Lynn, let's show his intro and then I will be right back with you. Hello, it's me. It's just little old me waiting for Superman to come pick me up and help me out. Maybe he's out being a superhero for someone else, which he does do a lot. And while I have you here, I want to show you a video that I saw of him because James is an amputee. He lost his leg at a very young age and he goes around and he helps other people deal with their losses, which it is a loss. So Lynn, put up the one in his red t-shirt where he's helping a young boy that just lost his leg.
This is just a phase. There will be a moment, man, where you're going to walk other people through this as well. I believe in you. I promise you, you got this thing. All I want you to do is take one step forward. Let's go.
Yeah. Come on now.
There you go. You did it.
Use your arms too.
Look at you.
Squeeze it nice and tight.
By the way, I'm not holding you up. This is all
There you
you.
go.
Imagine that.
Look at that. Look at that.
Look up.
Look up. Yeah. There you
I
go.
told you.
You got it. You got it.
Gave you a beach. You
Use
just
your
wanted
arms
to
too.
reach you up.
Squeeze that too.
That's a big step. That was big. That was big. That was big.
You got you.
Let me look at you.
So last week I was watching the Ken Walls Breakthrough Walls podcast and James was on there. Hey guys. Hi, Sean. Yeah. Could have Heather co-host for me. My friend Heather Bryant. Hi, Heather. So I was watching Breakthrough Walls with Ken Walls and James was on there. And I clicked on and was just like peeping in. I always try to watch Ken's guests. And this man just completely drew me in. And it was his voice, it was his demeanor, and it was the things that he was saying that I felt so genuinely from him that I couldn't stop watching it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I really need to have him on the show. And then at the end of Ken's podcast, I found out that he had written this book that has not been released yet. And guess what the book's called? Found. It's Found. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Found needs to be on Find It. So I thought that was just incredible. And the story of his life and how he lost his leg and how he has dealt with it and the ability to pick himself up and power on is just incredible. And there was something he said, and I wrote this note because I wanted to talk to him about it. He had said that everyone's always talking about, well, tomorrow I'll do this and tomorrow I'll do that. And he kind of had an analogy about darkness. And he said, there are times where you feel alone and you're in the dark and you wonder where the light is. And you wait, you want the light of the next day. But really, right after midnight, it is a new day. It's a new day, but you can't see it yet because it's still dark. But there's hope. And I love analogies. I love visualizations like that inspire me. And he was just speaking my language, I'm telling you. And the story of how he lost his leg and when his mother addressed him about the loss of his leg and how he had siblings and they're all super athletic and he felt like the sickly one and the one that was disabled. And it was just, I was like, he's incredible. Then he has, his YouTube station is like over 1 million followers and his voice is he does voiceovers for situations, like videos that they bring in, and they, on this, it's called, Absolute Motivation is his YouTube station, Absolute Motivation. And his voice and the things that he says is from his heart. So while I have you guys on here, and he's not still, but I want to show a video from his YouTube station called Absolute Motivation. Lynn?
You may have heard the saying that if you want to always look up to your childhood heroes, never meet them. That way you won't be disappointed. That's a lie. You see, the childhood hero that you have, the biggest one is you. And the things that you dreamed as a child, the things that you imagined yourself doing, are only moments away. It's a moment when you decide that I'm going to become everything I dreamed of. It's a moment when you promise yourself that I'm about to evolve. It's a promise that you make to yourself that I will not die and leave everything on the inside. But I'm going to pour everything out as an offering. I'm going to empty myself in life with everything that I've gone through, everything that I want to be, and I'm going to introduce myself in the mirror to a hero that only I saw.
So empty out. Oh my gosh. Not, you don't want to die with everything inside of you. That's powerful. Words are powerful, and the way he expresses it, it's like, he means it. And for someone who, think about losing a limb. Like, that's a big deal, and at a young age and dealing with that. And now he goes around and he helps other amputees find their new normal and power through and be everything that they're meant to be in this life. And I just feel like, gosh, on our worst days, when we feel like we've had it, and you look at other people that, other people are inspiration, whether that's because of their hardships, or even if it's because of the great things that happen in their lives. Lynn, what did Heather just say? I want to see that. Oh, Michelle. Heather says, I love how you find such a myriad of inspirational guests that all bring such amazing perspectives and lessons to us all. Thank you, Heather. And then Michelle, it is powerful, Michelle. And I want you to meet James, because you and talk to him. Like, he and I have had phone conversations, and I just had chill bumps all over me. He's so moving, and he's such the real deal. Julie Preston, I need him to come to work with me. I know. I need him to come to my show right now. And here's what's going to happen. He's going to show up at 9:00. That's what's going to happen. And I'm going to be like, okay, we're going to go back on. So if you guys are into that, we'll do that, because he the last text message I got from him was, I'm so excited. And I'm excited too. I'm in my Superman t-shirt. Hi, Andrea. So let's talk about this. This is a dupe lip oil. Like, the real stuff's like, I don't know, $36, and this is $12 on Amazon. This is good stuff, you guys. I don't know. What am I going to talk about? I can talk about him. I can show his video again for the people just coming in. My gosh, thank you guys for tuning in and hanging with me, even knowing that the guest isn't here. I love you people. Ask me some questions and ask me something, and I'm going to answer it. Let's do that. Is there anything that people want to know about me? Like, just be totally transparent right here. Does anybody have any questions? Hi, Lynn.
Hi. So can everybody come back in about 40 minutes?
Yeah. Why don't we do that? Let me see if he sent, I just blew up his phone okay. So the thing is, he told me, who is your biggest inspiration? Okay. I would say that my biggest inspiration are my parents, because the reason I say both of them is because I have really solid parents, but I get something and I've gotten something. I'm lucky to still have my parents. Let's just say that. As a young person, really like a kid, as a teenager, and as an adult, I've gotten different things from both of them at different times of what I needed to learn. My dad is a little bit more sensitive and compassionate about anything, situations. My mom can be really tough. Like, buckle up. If she's not nice to you, stay away from her. That's enough. Well, why don't they? I don't understand. It don't matter. It doesn't matter. If someone isn't nice to you and they don't bring you joy, stay away from them. And that's what she can truly do. She is able to just say, well, you know what? I don't like being around people who aren't nice to me. And I'm like, I know. Why am I glutton? Why am I a glutton for punishment? But then I could go to my dad and say the same thing. He'd go, well, kid, come over here and say, let's talk about this. I know how you feel. You know, if someone isn't nice, I think, well, what the heck did I do to that fella? So, and then just to see their relationship and how they support one another. And us kids could never get in between that to try to play one against the other, because kids will try that, you know, like mom's being mean or something. Dad's like, what'd you do? Don't talk about your mother. I mean, that was like a non-negotiable with them. They always had each other's back. And that was good to see that type of relationship and strength and loyalty. And then the faith base that they gave me. And, you know, my mom will say a cuss word here and there, but she doesn't believe that that's going to make her burn in hell. I like that mentality. I think that she just shows her personality. She's like, well, shit, there's nothing wrong with that. But she's the most loving, inspirational, spiritual person ever. And James, you guys, Superman's on the phone. Hi, James. I'm on live right now waiting for you. Okay, we're ready for you. There's people watching right now. Yay, he's here. Superman, there's a damsel in distress. Get on here. Oh, he hung up. Superman hung up on me, showed up. He's coming now. Debbie does have awesome parents. Yes, Trisha, and so do you. So yeah, Michelle, you pour into so many. How do you fill your own cup? Michelle, I love you. You know, it's been a process. So I haven't always filled up my own cup, and then there's resentment, and that's on my own. That's my own fault. So there are times where, you know, you feel like you got to be all this for everybody else, and then you feel like I'm worn out. Well, I got to do all this. I got to do. Well, you know what? That's on me. I had to learn to take time for myself. So I had
knock,
to
Debbie.
give.
Debbie, guess what?
Guess
Yay,
what?
James is here. But you know what? To do honors, I'm going to do his little intro real quick so he can see it.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So we're going to show the
make
intro again.
pretend that we didn't even talk till now. Okay.
Okay. Now we're saying we're starting for realsies. I'll introduce him. Welcome to Find It. Tonight we have a very special guest. Guess who it is? Superman is in the house. He put his cape on and flew on in here. And I want you to know he is a very impressive man in so many ways. You're going to find out why. Also, I've heard he was an Under Armour model. That doesn't hurt. And the fact that the handle that he uses on Instagram is Superman is for real. I want to know why. How did he get that handle? Why is that? And he is an author of a brand new book that will be released very soon. And I went ahead and purchased it. I'm on order. And it's called Found. So guess what? Found is on Find It. So hang tight. We're going to show his intro. James will be right back with us. Hey, James.
Hello. I'm so thankful that you were patient. You brought me on, and I can't wait to talk to you.
Awesome. So are you doing a documentary today?
I hear you. I saw someone else.
Were you filming? Yeah, that's the producer in the back, Lynn. We've been talking about, oh my gosh, is he going to come on here?
Yeah. So I'm filming a documentary about my life. I stopped because I said, I got to be on Find It. And so I said, what time is it? And someone had my phone, and I was like, I got to get off here because Find It can't be lost. I have to be there. I can't miss it.
Well, thank goodness you found it, because I was trying to find it and I couldn't without you to say I found it. So, okay, I've already shown some videos from your Instagram account, which is Superman is for real. I would really like to, let me just take a breath and get back in my groove, because my intentions for this show is to for you to give a background of how you lost your leg. I mean, I've already been talking about you, so everybody knows. But I want you to give us your background and what happened with you when you were a young kid and how you maneuvered to be the person and where you are now.
Oh, that's a great one. So I'll share something that is exclusive just with you this time,
Okay.
because I want to do something totally different. So when people come here, they find a different story that they can't find anywhere else.
Awesome.
So I was born, and every thing just looked like I had a broken leg. So they thought put a stent to it and that I'd be okay. That my leg was just off and they could fix it. And then when I was 90 days old, they decided to do a surgery. And this surgery is where they took part of my rib cage and they placed it in my lower femur, thinking this could fix it. This tibula, all these issues that James has, we're going to fix it with this surgery. Well, 6 months later, it needed another. And they kept going until I had my 33rd surgery in a row. Never had a break. Every 6 months, I was having surgery. Tried everything, but I didn't take my first full steps until I was 11.
11 years old?
There was no walking without a brace, without assistance, without a walker until then.
Wow. I didn't realize that, James. Ooh.
Yeah. So when you ask, how did I become Superman? My mother and grandmother would get me Superman items and tell me that I was still Superman, even though I couldn't walk. The belief or the idea was that no matter what had happened to me, it was just kryptonite. But one day I was going to become powerful. And so they bought me a weightlifting set. And I believe, Debbie, you'll remember this. Do you remember the Hulk Hogan era?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was a Hulkamaniac. I was die hard. I used to believe that the Hulkster could not win unless I was watching. I believed it. And when the Hulkster would call for the Hulkamaniacs and start to put his hand there, I would be screaming, yeah. So when the Hulkster would do that, he was talking to me. And I said, man, I wanted to be like the Hulkster. And that particular time, he came out with a weight set with a motivational tape for kids. 2 little 5-pound weights. But my grandmother bought those for me. And I would sit and I would use those weights and I'd walk in and I'd be like, boom, Grandma, look how much stronger I am. And she'd be like, wow, you're so powerful. So even though I was limited in my legs, they still got me to work out by giving me weights. And that's the way I did rehab. So I began that habit then about overcoming my disability, becoming Superman, with the idea that I was only dealing with kryptonite and that one day I'd beat it. And here I am today.
Well, I want to talk a little bit. When you weren't here, I showed the video of you. It was in kind of like a dark time, and then talking about not wanting to meet your superhero because you never want to be disappointed, and then saying, no, you can be your own hero. That was really impressive. What happened when you were 11 years old and they removed your leg? What did that do to you mentally? And how did you deal with that?
Well, that's a very dark and challenging moment for me. When I was 11, I thought I was just going through another surgery, and I had no idea that they were taking my leg. They didn't explain it. My mom had even asked me, did I want to? And I said no. And so to wake up and my leg was just gone, I felt like someone robbed me. They stole something from me. And so I was angry. And when the doctor walked in to see how I was doing, he simply said, hey, how are you doing? And I waited until he got close and I tried to hit him with a pillow because this guy just stole my leg. And he walks in and asks me, how am I doing? And no one told me that. It felt like it was final.
Yeah. I mean, to not, and then what did your mom say to you about, like you'd had the conversation with her and you didn't want to lose it, but obviously that was the only thing that they could do at that point.
Well, the scar tissue was bad enough that was the solution they came up with. But my mom was different. My mom had an idea of tough love. And her idea of tough love was to make you face a reality that my grandmother was different. My grandmother believed I could do everything. That anything that I face, anything that you go through, it has to also go through you. Where my mom was more of like, listen, you got to face reality. Son, you're a cripple. You understand that? And when she said those things to me, immediately, that was her immediate comment. The first thing out of her mouth was to call me a cripple. When I look back at the nurse, my mom wanted to correct me for looking for anyone else for an honest answer. And so my mom slapped me again and said, I want you to repeat after me that you're a cripple. That was a challenging moment for me because it was then that I felt broken. I didn't want to try anymore because what was the use? But I want to tell you something that happened that I know I didn't tell anyone else. After they amputated my leg and after the situation with my mom slapping me and telling me I'm a cripple, one of the things that I wanted, I asked if I could see the part of my leg they amputated.
Oh.
And so they took me to a room and I got to see what they took off of me. It was on a steel table and I could just see it from a distance. And I was trying to move it because I was struggling, not knowing that what I was feeling, I could feel that foot even though it wasn't there. That's called phantom pains. And though I could see that foot over on the table, I wanted to try to move it, and seeing that disconnect, I didn't understand that even though the leg was separated from me, I could still feel it there.
I mean,
No
I've heard of
way.
phantom. I've heard of that.
Yeah.
And how long does that last? That
For
the
some
phantom
people, it
pain?
will last for life. For me, it lasted until I learned techniques of how to overcome it. So what I did was I took a pillow and I would put it down where my foot was missing, and I'd reach down and I'd massage the pillow. And then later in life, I learned about mirror therapy. That's when you look in the mirror, the leg that is missing reappears because it shows you the opposite leg. You lean to the side, you can see the leg, your sound legs you still have, reflected, reversed in the mirror, and you're allowed mentally to see the leg return. Now you can scratch that leg, you can massage that leg, and the mind will give you relief.
That is just really bizarre if you think about it. And then the
It is.
mirroring, that is just really like it's hard to wrap your brain around, but that's how the brain works. I mean, it's
But
just
that's how it works.
yeah.
It is a custom, it knows, it recognizes, and it finds peace in trying to get you whole again.
Wow. The guest I had on before you is an orthopedic surgeon. They've come a long way with being able to help and repair legs. But what year was that? When you were 11, it would have been what?
1984.
Yeah. We've come a long way with the orthopedics and with surgeries and different things that they can do, but still like the fact that, let's go back to this because, being a mother myself, there has to be a balance between tough love and also knowing when it's time to nurture. When I listened to your story on Breakthrough Walls, I thought, oh my gosh, because I heard you say that about your mom being the tough love, even in the moment of such loss for you. And the thing that got me was I get the tough love part, and she was doing what she thought was best for you. And I believe that with my heart, because as a mother, I know we try to do our best with what we know and what we've been taught ourselves. But I didn't like the label. The label, like to say you're a cripple is like labeling you. Whereas your grandmother, on the other hand, said, you're like any other 11-year-old boy who wants to be Superman. Well, you are. You
Right.
can be. So
And that was a tough thing. You mentioned labeling. The one thing about labeling is once you frame someone, sometimes that becomes the picture they have in life. And even the Shriners used to be called the Shriners Hospital for Crippled Children. And so the term crippled was just bantered around as if it were just your normal definition for a child. And though we've evolved in labeling and learning that words do matter, the power of it, I'm thankful that I had the tough love of mom at times, but it was rough. But I also am thankful that I had the loving, unconditional side of grandma. And those things combined in such a way that it empowered me and it also comforted me.
Mm-hmm. So I know because I've scoped out your YouTube station, which is called Absolute Motivation. But I've also looked at your Instagram that's under Superman is for real. Everyone that's watching, you can see it in the bottom of the screen here. Heather, let me just stop on this statement here by Heather Bryant. She said, "Love what he shared about his mother and grandmother. They sound like two incredible ladies."
Wow, thank you so
And
much.
Michelle Thomas Valentine, she is a amazing woman too. Label becomes your limits if you're not mindful. She does Facebook posts that are like moving. I want her to write a book. Joe Ingram, fun fact, Debbie wore the Superman shirt for me, not James.
Yeah. You know, I
Secrets
got
out,
a great
Joe.
I got a great story about Joe. You know how I met Joe, right?
Were you public speaking somewhere or something?
No. This is
Oh.
totally different. Many people have no idea of the success that Joe has become. When I met Joe, he was homeless. He was living in a shelter. I mean, listen, he had 15 cents to his name, and he asked me. I was working, and he said, "Sir, can I have a bite of that sandwich?" And I knew that he had potential, but language is a challenge for him. When he said sandwich, I was like, "Wow, this guy, if he could ever get his language together, can be phenomenal." And so I hired him selling sandwiches, and we coded it and made a lot of money, and he became a great sales guru. But I don't want to talk about Joe anymore.
Yeah, now he's the sales sandwich genius.
That's right. That was 3 years ago. I don't want to talk about that. He's totally turned himself around.
Oh gosh, you're awful. There you go, Joe. Joe's like, I'm gonna hide. I'm not coming back to this show anymore. Yeah, but now through everything that you've gone through, I have watched you through your videos go and help other kids or adults too, probably, who have lost limbs, right?
Yes. You know, this when I think back over my course of life, I think about the isolation I felt. I felt being the only child. My mom perhaps being fearful of having another child that would have challenges. Learning to self-soothe by being by myself. I learned so many different things. And now I'm able to take those things and walk in a room, and I can deal with people who feel isolated, alone. I can deal with people who are afraid of what's possible. They don't know what's to expect. And I'm able to fill in all these blanks for them and allow them to complete a goal, set goals for themselves. This is what I'm doing now with the course of my life. When I wrote the book, it was cathartic, but it was also on purpose because I needed to pass on hope. Those videos you're talking about are 100% from the heart to the heart. When you hear me on Absolute Motivation, I don't have scripts. I'm not speaking to an audience. I'm speaking to individuals. Like if you and I have this conversation, the energy and the exchange we have, the passion you have for people, what Find It is about is discovering people and bringing them to the forefront that can impact people for positive. I take that, I'll spend time, and then I release that back out to impact other people's lives.
And you do that. And like I said, when I saw you on the other on Ken's podcast, I was just like, oh, you had me. It was like I was engaged because I can tell that what you're saying you mean, and you mean what you say, and you've lived this life and you've overcome these challenges. And then when I showed the video of you helping a young boy that had lost his leg or part of his leg, and when you're looking at him and you're saying, you know, you're going to be able to do this, you're going to look back on this and you're going to help other people, you being able to give that of yourself and him look at you and know that you've gone through the same thing. He believes you. He knows what you speak as truth, and that gives people hope.
Not only that, if you notice, I had a shirt on that had a cartoon on it. And so I might be being called Superman, but last year I became a superhero myself. And so my characters, the cartoon that they use is called Joyful James. And it's all about empowering, helping kids. And that day, what I did is I autographed that for him and I gave that shirt to him until the day he becomes a superhero himself. You see, each and every one of us carries the spark of divinity and power to do great things. But it takes someone to sometime believe for you until you can believe in yourself. And him sitting on the couch for 7 months, believing that he couldn't make it,
Aw.
it only took one encounter to get him off the couch and moving forward. It took another 2 weeks, and you saw him take his first steps.
That's incredible. What is like you were just in, were you in Atlanta last week or this
Yeah.
week?
So,
What, yeah, tell us about that.
all right. So this is called, I was invited to be the keynote speaker for the Georgia Society of Orthotics and Prosthetics. That's all the prosthetists, orthotists that are in the state that are come for continuing education or whatever. They come, but they choose to pay to come to hear me. I was honored to not only be able to be there, but I got to speak to an audience that I've been waiting to talk to my entire life. You see, the process can get weary and well-doing. But you get to doing it so often that it becomes what's on my schedule, what's on my calendar. Oh, I've got 7 people today. Okay, I'll just go in there, see them, and they come out and they lose the humanity of it. Or they get jaded because someone got upset, someone was up, didn't like the work they had done. And so what I came to do was to be a spark plug to their will again. I asked them to forgive me for every amputee that has ever treated them like they didn't pour themselves into it. I asked them to forgive me for those who complained and made them want to feel like giving up or become calloused. And then I asked them to recommit themselves to touch our lives and realize that our anger, our bitterness is not about what you didn't do. It's about what we lost and how much they are a key ingredient in us finding ourselves, finding our hope, and going back after our dreams. And so I dared them to believe and to give again, and how one person they helped could change everything. And in case they were wondering how true that could be, one prosthetist upgraded my prosthetics and fought for me to get that. And in that 4-year time frame, I became a household name because of one person pulled me out of my house. I had been silent, I've been quiet about it. So when I came there, it was to challenge them to be more present, to believe again. And so when they gave the standing ovation, some cried. Many of them told me they're reinvigorated. They wanted to do more. They wanted to find the next James Dixon. And that's how I know it was successful.
Oh, for sure. So, you know, when you now, you know, you're connected and you go to these different, you're keynote speaker for these in this industry. But when you were 11, what kind of prosthesis, or however you say it, what did you have back then?
Well, I wore a wooden leg. I didn't have upgraded. I had the lowest level. It's the type of thing you would put on a mannequin.
Oh my gosh, that would be so heavy.
Well, it was 25 pounds. It's just wood. And it had no liner. You literally just put a tube sock on the outside of your residual limb, or stump, as we called it then. And you step down into it and you just get used to being calloused. And you're going to have boils. You're going to have sores. You're going to bleed. You're going to endure. You're going to have problems always. But it was the life that I thought that's all there was going to be until technology changed.
So what were you able to do as a young boy? I mean, I know you're very athletic and sporty, and you lift and you've done all that. What did you do as a young kid loving sports with a 25-pound wooden leg?
Yeah. With a wooden leg, I wanted to do everything that every other kid did. I wanted to be just like them. The only limitation, I would drag the leg. I wasn't able, there were a lot of limitations with mobility and stuff, but I just had to power through it. I refused to be left out. But there was an incident when all the kids went swimming. We were in high school, and I didn't want to accept or embrace being an amputee. And the high school um, um, gym coach made us do swimming. And he said, the only way to pass my class is you're going to have to get in the water. Well, the idea of me taking my leg off in front of everyone,
Oh,
I
yeah.
couldn't do it. So what I did was I put the leg, kept the leg on. I duct taped a hefty bag around my leg and thought I could keep it dry because I wanted to keep my pride. So I get in the water and it got saturated with water. It led to me having to have another surgery.
Oh my gosh, James.
But all I wanted to do is be accepted. And so I found that technology limited. Now we have legs that are waterproof components and allow me to, I can walk in pools, waters, take a shower, standing, and that's all brand new. The world has changed for us.
Yeah. So what do you have something that you keep on all the time, or do you sleep without anything on? Is that how that works?
So I have a number of prosthetics now because with my notoriety came opportunities, but most people don't. They get one leg and it's universal. You can't use it it comes with limitations. You can't lift more than 275 pounds, including your body weight. You can't do this, you can't do that, can't get it wet. And so I have legs for every situation. But at night, I take it off. I put a liner on that protects my skin. But if there's a knock at midnight, every amputee has to be able to and learn how to get dressed quickly. So it takes me about 4 seconds to roll on the liner, step in my leg, and I'm good to go.
Wow.
But it's taking time, it's taking precision and practice. Most of us take a lot longer, but I've endeavored to try to remove every limitation.
That is incredible. That is real. So you, there's something to say about your drive. So do you feel like your drive has always been there, or do you think it was partly having that balance of a tough love from your mom and the nurturing from your grandmother? How did you get inspirational like you are?
Well, it was my desire to get in the game. I wanted to play basketball to prove my mom wrong, but I also wanted acceptance. I wanted to be celebrated. I wanted to be a part of what everyone else was doing. And so it started off as a chip on my shoulder to prove them all wrong. But what I found is the more that I was trying to prove them wrong, it made me bitter. It made me angry. It made me hard to connect with it because I was always at war. There were no friends. There was no tolerance. There was no true connection. And when you yearn and you want more than anything to be accepted and validated, the chip doesn't work. What I found worked was passion. I just determined that no matter what, no one's going to stop me. Whenever I stepped on the court, I took it personal that every individual I was against was someone trying to stop me, and every teammate that I had could count on me. In fact, I became known for being able to go to each teammate and be like, "You can count on me. I'm that man in the arena with you. I got your back. If they get past you, they won't get past me." And it's that which birthed everything in me. So today, I'm still that guy. I learned that I'm gentle with those I love, but I'm a protector as well. And so now my goal is to protect everyone so that they get the opportunity to find that prosthetic and to find hope after losing a leg.
That's incredible. You know what really spoke to me just now is the fact that you said playing or living your life to prove people wrong and you have that chip on your shoulder versus just having the passion to do it, not trying to prove yourself, but doing it for you with passion. And I believe that statement that you just made, all of us can take in our lives and remind ourselves when we think, well, I'll show you. Really, show yourself. Show yourself. It doesn't matter what, you're not really against anybody. You're for yourself, and you need to drive through it for you And in life, I think that's that lesson that you learned very young that you've taken through your life, the passion and compassion. That's a beautiful blend.
Thank you. That resonates. That's what absolute motivation is about. It's a phrase, it's a mantra. It becomes a mission statement in life. Absolutely motivated to do everything that I was gifted to do, talented to do, called to do. Uh, Whatever God had in me, whatever it is, it was to be a spark plug to the will of others. And so every message, if it had come from a place of pain or frustration or anger, no one's going to listen to a rant. You might go viral ranting one time. You might go viral being funny and letting people pull your leg off for acceptance or whatever it might be. But if you want people to connect, they connect with spirit, energy, with passion, with purpose. And so that's what every video is about. That's what every moment is about. And that's why I wrote a book, so that every person, when you're in those situations, when you're by yourself, when you feel alone, when you feel abandoned, that you can see that someone else went through this and they left a roadmap so that I can get there. And as I get there, they feel like and they realize that they can turn around and bring someone else. Going to people one at a time, Debbie, is too slow. That's why I wrote it, because I got to get in the hands of others, and you're helping me do that. So thank you, helping me meet people that can find it.
That's right. And here it is again. James E. Dixon found Living Your Life Without Limitations. And they're on pre-order right now. And, and if you go to his handle, Superman is for real, even on Instagram, you can go right to his website. You can find it. You can find it. Michelle Thomas Valentine says, we all have a calling in life, and you, sir, are living what God has called you to do, to be and do. Yes, I was thinking the same thing. Joe Ingram, oh no. Your determination to be like everyone else made you stand out from the crowd, because most people lack determination.
Oh, Joe said something nice.
I'm like, I got to reread that and make sure there's nothing in there.
Are you sure that's Joe? Oh, my
Joe, I'm telling you, I got a message from Joe after I said I wanted you on the show. He wrote even on Facebook, he's like, this man's for real. Kelly Prater, yes, making your test a testimony. Kelly Prater sent me a message and said that the book of Esther 4:14,
she is what Esther did. She was born for such a time as this, for this moment. This is what I was born for. All of my trials, all of my tribulations were for such a time as this. I want to also say this, Joe connected us. I think the world of Joe. And so I want to say this. Joe is a tremendous person. And Joe hasn't even unlocked his potential. What he is and what he has in him is bigger than what he's done. And Debbie, so are you. We are all in this thing, and we're pushing each other to be great. It's not a great episode. It's not a great show that we're doing. We're becoming better by sharpening each other's iron. It's the conversation we're having. We're sparking that interest so that people watch us and hold us accountable to become all that we can. And that's what I'm here for. I really do appreciate you taking time with me tonight.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here too. And I believe in this. And I love to see people succeed and achieve greatness. It makes me happy. And I'm on a path to find my own greatness. I like when Michelle's, oh, look, Lynn, what a testimony. Love you, James. Lynn Serrano. Joe Ingram is 1 in a trillion, and so are you, James. It's Michelle, who has piped in, has a beautiful way of wording things and a big heart. And she's like a person that you see, and she has her own little light. Like she has her own light. And I want her to write a book. I want her, and she's doing a lot of things for herself finally now, I think, to fill her own cup up. But like, I want more than anything to see the people around me succeed. I love that. I really do. I'm not jealous of people. It pushes me. When I see someone else doing great things, I get excited.
Listen, I've unlocked the code when it comes to the YouTube. We grew from 700,000 to 1.4 million in less than 8 months, right? Not only we do that, but we went from 60 million views to 120 something million views. We did more in 8 months, me being dedicated full time at this, than we did in almost a decade. And so what I'm telling you is that when we go all in, everything that we've been waiting on is there. I want to show you what's happening outside of here. I know I want to answer any other questions, but I want to show you how important not only are you to me, and I'm so thankful to be on, but I want to show you what we're doing in the lives of others.
Let's do it. Let's
Is that
right
all right?
now. Yeah, pick me up.
We're going on tour.
Let's fly.
go.
Let's fly,
Jump.
Superman.
Let's go, man. You're coming
Let's
with
go.
me. So I met a gym owner, and he had a desire to do something with people with disabilities and limb differential. And wait a minute, this is the director, the best one ever. She is Marcy. Tell her about our film company. Crown.
Oh, Crown Family Films.
Crown Family Film. I met her at the Challenge Athletes Foundation, and she was there with us with all of our limb differential, all of our challenges, and she had a heart for us and wanted to share our cause. There are so many people that are struggling to get prosthetics, and she took it upon herself, put her own funding, her own heart into it to make sure that all of us could get our stories out in the importance of and the power of athletics. In fact, she's traveled from San Diego to Indiana right now. We're in Kokomo, and people are so excited to see her, and I just stole her. And but I wanted to be a part of this. This is a great show. But if you guys could, she does films. How can we find you on social media?
You can find me. You can find me at www.crown with a K, KROWN, crownfamilyfilms.com.
Crown Family, but she's here doing things for us that no one else has, and I'm so thankful. So I'm going to show you a quick thing before we wrap up your show. I'm so honored.
Thank you.
So I want you guys to see this here. This here, they have healthy food and stuff like that for us. And remember, watch this.
Uh-oh. Look who we found.
So
That's
I'll
awesome.
do exclusive thing here. When you see, look at that office. Isn't that cool? But they have offices. They've created all kinds of things that for limb differential people. In fact, their entire gym is like 25,000 square feet.
Wow.
And they just did all this stuff here to make it accepting, positive, great verses. But the entire place is wheelchair accessible.
Okay.
And for disabilities, so that we can work out and do things without, and even if you notice, it's quiet in here, so they can give instruction to us. And this place is huge. But Debbie, we have, let me see here. There we are.
Okay, do some reps. Do some reps for us, James.
Debbie, let me ask you this. You apparently, I know that you are a superhero as well, but the fact that you introduced the rest of the world to superheroes, man, I'm just honored to be in a Justice League that has you in it. And I appreciate
A-team.
you know, having the shirt and all that. We're filming. I have amputees that are all in this place to be in this film with me. And I can't thank you enough for bringing me on. But I had to stop because you are important. You're a valuable person to me, and I can't wait. As we all elevate, we push each other together. Joe, thank you for giving me one of your prized possessions, a friendship with Debbie, to be in my life. Thank you for helping me find it.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so before we go, I'm going to ask you one more thing because you've found a lot that I ask every single person. And I also talked about you saying everyone's looking for the next day, but at midnight, it's dark, but it's really the next day. You just feel like I loved that when you talked about that. But in your life, can you encompass and share with us something that you have found that you can share with us to inspire us too?
Okay. This is what I found. That every dark day I've ever had was going to be a seed. It didn't seem like it. But every dark day that you have, everything that you go through, every time you feel isolated, every time you feel abandoned, neglected, broken, it's a seed. You don't see it now, but every day, all those tears you cried over it and all that stuff is going to be a tree, something that is being planted that will grow up, and you'll be able to provide shade to other people because of what was planted in you through your pain. It may not look like it now, but whatever you're going through is going to change the world for someone else. It's a big thing. You're not going to be broken by what you go through. It's making you better. You just have to wait and see. And when you see the tree, you'll realize you are stronger than you ever imagined.
The planting seeds to grow a tree so we can give shade to someone else and safe place. Just like, I love this so much, James. Thank you. And I also appreciate that I know that you care more about, you want to get to the masses with your book and with your YouTube. But I also know when you talk to that one boy that you helped and that next girl that you helped, you're in the moment with that one person. And regardless of all the other people that you've helped, even if it's that one that you had walked their first step, you've helped the world. So I think that a lot of us get into we're just small potatoes. Like, what are we really going to do? But if you inspire or help one person or make someone feel loved, we've helped the world.
Yeah.
We really have.
You know, you've done that with us today. I'm so appreciative of you, and the more that you make an open door here for us and with your audience, Crown Family Films was strong enough, bold enough to do this and open up the door to share our stories so that we can touch even more lives.
Oh, yeah.
Debbie, you're doing this in a massive way, and I'm appreciative of the opportunity to come on your show.
Well, I'm appreciative of you too. And I hope that all of my listeners go and follow you on Instagram and go ahead and get a copy of the book. And one of these days, you know what? Maybe you can come to our town and do a book signing. Because I think
I would do it.
You're not that far from me.
Yeah, we would do it. And then when the movie comes out, you guys will love it. You'll share it, you'll watch it, and we'll get that out as well, because I promise you, this will be inspirational. It's a great cause. Thank you for having me on. I will see you later.
All right. Take care. Take care. Thank you so much, James. I'll see you all next Wednesday, where Tara Alston, new published book author, is going to be on. And boy, she has a story. She's a local gal. Thanks to Gwen Thomas for introducing us. And with that, I will see you next Wednesday. Thank you all for joining me. Take care.
That floats around me, keeping me